Hi, I'm Shauna Pennington Baird, and I am the author and performer of Broken Wide Open, which is a theater play and an audio drama of when my heart exploded in Ireland in 2019. I'm an aortic dissection survivor, and needed to tell my story about what happened to me. And this video is talking about why on earth would I want to do that? What's the point of telling my story over and over again to lots of strangers? Not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody needs to do that. My background, I am a theater performer. So I was in the Colorado Ballet when I was 6 doing the Nutcracker. From there, I went into high school theater. From there, I went into musical theater in college and ended up in Seattle, Washington after an international tour. And I've been doing professional theater ever since. And in particular, I've been doing voiceover, which is why I have all this stuff around me, out of my house for a little over 10 years. And when my heart exploded 4 years ago, I was actually overseas, 5,000 miles away from my family, going to a voiceover conference that I never made it to. And this horrific thing happened to me. And I have a wicked sense of humor. I think I always have. And when I woke up, my first thought was, why does my bikini line hurt? I thought this was about my heart. And so I was apparently giggling in the ICU. Most people don't do that. Apparently, they'd taken the intubation tube out. And I was laughing, and the nurse ran over, and she's like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" I'm like, "Um, I've been shaved down. It's gonna itch. Do you have something for the itching?" And so I made her laugh because I'm making jokes about like getting a Brazilian wax if you have to get one. Full anesthesia is the way to go. So I started cracking jokes throughout my entire experience of sort of apparently I was also cracking jokes in the elevator going up before the surgery. So the show is a combination of all the jokes I told to get myself through it before the incident, apparently right when I woke up from the incident, and in my healing process. It was still a terrifying experience. I was not happy all the time. But I will also say in Ireland, they don't always tell you what's wrong with you right away. They kind of go, "Oh, you're grand. You have some tea." So it was really unlike in the States, where they were pretty frank with me right away when I had things happen here. I had some time to let it all kind of sit in. And I got home and I ended up with two major infections in my chest. So I ended up in the Virginia Mason Hospital for 8 days in the hospital by myself, not with roommates. It wasn't as much fun. There was no Irish tea unless my mom brought it to me. It was very different than when I'd been in Ireland. And so I ended up telling all the jokes again to every medical professional who wandered in my room, poor souls. So I ended up workshopping all this funny material to medical professionals. And a lot happened. So I had the sternal wires that were infected. Then I had double vision. So we ended up and I got a couple of head scans. And they're like, "Hey, you've had 2 strokes." And I'm like, "What? I've had what?" They're like, "We don't know why you can move your left side." And I'm like, "What?" Apparently this is common. Strokes happen during open heart surgery pretty frequently. And I got really lucky because I have no after effects that are huge. Anyway, I think I got some hearing loss. So then so I've had, I call them my dragons. My red dragon's the heart dragon, and then the white dragon is the stroke. I had 2 strokes, full strokes, not TIAs. And then I had a lot of itching going on, so much itching. So we found this tiny little lump in my breast, and my doctor and I are like, "No way. Well, let's go get it checked." Yeah, I had breast cancer, stage 1B breast cancer. We found all that in 6 months. So by the time I got the breast cancer diagnosis, um, a lot had happened. And frankly, I just kept cracking jokes, and it helped. And again, now I'm in radiation. Oh, and then the pandemic happens. That was no fun. I don't have a lot of good jokes about the pandemic. And so but I was going into radiation. And again, I'm going in every day, seeing medical professionals and telling them all these stories. Everyone's always like, "So, why have that scar on your chest?" And I would start with not the dark, depressing part, but the funny parts. And so finally, a medical professional said to me, "You got to write this down. Tell me you're writing all this down. This is really funny." And I was like, "Huh, we're in a pandemic. I'm going to write this all down." And I did. So I wrote the entire show down pretty fast and then immediately, without thinking, just sent it off to 2 playwright friends and said, "Please read this. I know. Please read it." And one of them immediately got back to me and said, "You need to do this show. Workshop it. You got to do the show." And that was I needed that little bit of permission from someone else to go do it. And we did it. So during the pandemic, we did an audio drama that is available on audible.com through Spoken Realms and Blackstone Audio. And I recorded it in here. And then I went and got it professionally directed on stage. During the pandemic, we met, performed for no one, had no shows on the books. I'm like, let's just rehearse this show to rehearse it. So we rehearsed it. And then last January, I called the musicians back up and said, so, you wanna go to the Fringe Festival in Edinburgh, Scotland? And they were like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Let's do it." So I spent 8 months of my life this year fundraising and figuring out how to take, 2 musicians, meet a 3rd musician over there and my daughter, and stay there and do Ireland and Scotland as a tour. Again, why would I wanna tell my story over and over again? Um, it loses its scariness with every telling. It becomes art outside of me. I am still the person that had a dissection. I get scanned every year. I have a scar. It's not going anywhere. I get double vision. I have just some mild PTSD. Doing the performing of it, getting on stage every night, I was terrified. I did it fine. My blood pressure didn't go crazy. It had been a while since I did live theater. Getting out there and just being able to talk about what happened in a nice, normal way took away some of the fear for me. Now, everybody's different, right? Maybe for some people it's writing a story. Maybe for some people it's writing poetry. Maybe for some people it's painting. Or art comes in all forms, right? I mean, art can also be learning the art of walking on the beach, collecting rocks, fishing, cooking. Maybe we take all the stuff that's happened to us and we create these recipes that last forever. And with every recipe we create, this makes me want to go cook upstairs really bad. With every recipe we create, we let go of some of the fear. And again, I am not a psychologist. I am not a therapist. I'm just an artist. I am a theater kid who sings, whose heart exploded, and I don't regret it. And I'm not afraid of it. And I'm grateful for every day I've had since. And so I'm very grateful to get to tell my story. Thanks.